We're going to kind of talk about heart rate zones, and there's a bunch of different ways to classify this. This is from Garmin. I'm using this. This is a screenshot of a recent run that I did where it was a 5K race, where we've got zones 1, which is like a warm up, to 2, which is easy. 2 is the kind of conversational pace where, again, this is where I kind of consider this to be more of the true aerobic, 2 to 3. But when I tell people to do their easy runs, we're aiming at zone 2. This is where you can have a conversation with someone. This is where you could go for a very long time. As we start to get into zone 3, even though Garmin does kind of classify this as aerobic, this is where you start to have a little bit more effort in your runs, and it's going to take you longer to recover. So I question how much you're starting to kind of float into that anaerobic zone with that. Then zone 4 is something that we call threshold, and that's a whole other conversation for another time, but just understanding that that's more intense kind of zones of training. And then zone 5 is where you're kind of at a sprint or a maximum, or you're racing at. So there are different kinds of zones. Garmin classifies it with 5. If you use Garmin watches, I have no affiliation with them. A lot of the runners that I work with have Garmin watches. I also have one myself, so I use it for my own training. Whoop, I think, also uses zone 5. I am a Whoop affiliate. There are also, to make things easier, zone 1, 2, and 3, easy, medium, hard, which I think is probably a more simple way of classifying this. But unfortunately, I think all of us are in these zones 1 through 5, just based on what we use to time our runs and what we use to kind of track our runs.